Fortinet NSE7 OT Security 7.2 NSE7_OTS 7.2 exam dumps are available for you to study. Share some Fortinet NSE7_OTS 7.2 exam dumps here. 1. An OT supervisor needs to protect their network by implementing security with an industrial signature database on the FortiGate device. Which statement about the industrial signature database on FortiGate is true? A. A supervisor must purchase an industrial signature database and import it to the FortiGate. B. An administrator must create their own database using custom signatures. C. By default, the industrial database is enabled. D. A supervisor can enable it through the FortiGate CLI. 2. An OT network architect needs to secure control area zones with a single network access policy to provision devices to any number of different networks. On which device can this be accomplished? A. FortiGate, B. FortiEDR, C. FortiSwitch, D. FortiNAC. 3. In a wireless network integration, how does FortiNAC obtain connecting MAC address information? A. MAC notification traps, B. End station traffic monitoring, C. Radius, D. Link traps. 4. An OT administrator has configured FSSO and local firewall authentication. A user who is part of a user group is not prompted from credentials during authentication. What is a possible reason? A. FortiGate determined the user by passive authentication. B. FortiNAC determined the user by DHCP fingerprint method. C. Two-factor authentication is not configured with Radius authentication method. D. The user was determined by Security Fabric. 5. When device profiling rules are enabled, which devices connected on the network are evaluated by the device profiling rules? A. Rogue devices, each time they connect. B. All connected devices, each time they connect. C. Known trusted devices, each time they change location. D. Rogue devices, only when they connect for the first time. 6. Which 3 Fortinet products can be used for device identification in an OT industrial control system? ICS, choose 3. A. FortiNAC, B. FortiManager, C. FortiGate, D. Fortis IEM, E. FortiAnalyzer. 7. In the context of FortiNAC, what is a key feature of a logical network? A. It creates a one-to-one association between a network access policy and a VLAN. B. It groups up to 10 VLANs into a single policy. C. It can identify several endpoints with a single rule. D. It simplifies network access policy management by reducing the number of policies needed. 8. A supervisor is configuring a software switch on a FortiGate device. What must the supervisor configure on FortiGate to control the traffic between member interfaces on the software switch, using firewall policies? A. The supervisor must add different VLAN interfaces to the software switch. B. The supervisor must configure the software switch with at least one wireless interface and one VLAN interface. C. The supervisor must configure a separate forward domain for the software switch. D. The supervisor must configure intra-switch policy to explicit. 9. Which deployment option allows an administrator to detect intrusions without any modifications to production traffic? A. Offline IPS, B. Offline IDS, C. Virtual patching, D. Inline IPS and IDS. 10. What is the main difference between real-time logs and historical logs on FortiAnalyzer? A. Historical logs are indexed in the SQL database, but real-time logs are not. B. Real-time logs are indexed in the SQL database, but historical logs are not. C. Historical logs are compressed and real-time logs are indexed in the SQL database. D. Real-time logs are indexed while historical logs are compressed in the SQL database.